everybody. It's the final countdown. We're 1 month out from ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship. How are we feeling? How's the body feeling? How's the mind feeling? Hear all about how we're doing on this episode of Low Tide Boys, plus Helen Wikmar, CEO of ARK Sports. You won't want to miss it. New theme song. Hit it. Welcome to the Low Tide Boys, a Swimrun podcast. I'm Chip.
And I'm Chris, and this is episode 135 of the show. This week, we have the final edition of our countdown to ÖTILLÖ show, where we discuss our journey to the start line of the 2022 ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship. In our quest to leave no stone unturned, literally, we have Helen Wikmar, CEO of ARK Sports, our favorite brand, on to talk about all things gear, obviously one of our favorite topics, for the big day. So pretty exciting to get her insight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We feel like the last big stone that we hadn't flipped over yet.
Yeah, now it's just a bunch of little stones.
Now there's
so
just
we can
little pebbles that hopefully you don't trip on.
Yeah.
But first, obviously, we want to give a huge thank you to our supporters who have supported us throughout this entire year and made our trip to ÖTILLÖ a success, and we thank them. So that's obviously Odyssey Swimrun, Frank Paddle, and Precision Fuel and Hydration. They've helped make this whole countdown to ÖTILLÖ series possible. So if you're looking to place an order with Precision Fuel and Hydration, who's what is the fuel source that Chris and I have been using and loving for pre them supporting us.
Yeah,
the better part of many years. We'll be using their gels and their products during ÖTILLÖ. We've been using them throughout our races. We love them. In case you didn't know that already, use the code LOWTIDE22 and you will save 15% off your first order. Nothing not to love about that. I think I'm going to place, Chris, you just placed a rather
giant,
monstrous.
Yeah, it was
monstrous,
a very heavy
a behemoth.
box.
Would you consider it a behemoth?
I don't know, but my wife picked up the box and she was like, "What's in here? Bricks?" I'm like,
hopefully
yeah.
bend with the knees, not with the back.
It's like a lot of carbs.
It's a lot of carbs. I need to place my order to make sure I
Probably
have
like 6,000 grams of carbs.
How much? Yeah.
Therein.
Okay, so divide by 90 grams of carbs per hour. That would fuel you for X hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone do the math and email us. All right, and if you're like us and you love doing Odyssey Swimrun events, use the code LOWTIDEBOYS, and that's good for 15% off your registration for any and all Odyssey Swimruns. We just got back from their kickoff event for the year, Odyssey Casco Bay. We had an absolute blast, and the Odyssey team is firing on all cylinders already this year on the top of their game, and we'll see everyone at Odyssey Austin. Wish we could be at Orcas, and Mackinac also look really amazing, so those are filling up fast. Make sure you register. Low Tide Boys saves you 15% off any event there. Finally, in case you haven't heard the news, Frank Paddle. His new pro paddles are out now.
It's basically sold out, but you can get on a wait list.
You can get on a wait list, or you have to be like a tiger.
Yeah.
Fast on the Instagram post when he posts it to
follow
go
him on
go
Instagram.
jump in.
He's been pretty good about putting sort of countdowns and stuff. So.
But in case you don't know, Frank Paddle, carbon fiber swimrun paddles, bunch of different sizes, different styles. Chris and I have been using them, absolutely love them, and we'll definitely be using those for ÖTILLÖ, as you might find out later in the show here. Well, we should just get into it now.
I think we should.
Okay. How's the body? How's the mind? Who started last time?
I can't remember.
Okay.
But why don't you start?
I think I'll start. I'll start with the mind. I feel like Helen picked up on it as well. The nerves, at least for me, it's starting to build.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say I think I have a lot of confidence and I know we can finish this event. It's just sort of the unknown for me as always. I've always struggled with the unknown. That's probably why I like doing the same races over and over. It's like the familiar aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
But, got a little bit of nerves, but I'm very much looking forward to going and kind of just getting out there and waiting for they don't use a gun. Well, they use that wood clapper.
Is that what they use?
Yeah, like the race start wood clapper thing to go off and for us to get hauling ass and all that will melt away.
I will say, I'll definitely echo that a little bit in terms of just fear of the unknown. It's going to be a big day. It's kind of feels the same way as, I'm sure when we lined up at our first Ironman, it's like, okay, this is going to be something. We'll see what happens. But let me ask you, have you been more prepared for anything in your life?
I know. So that's what I was going to say. How's the body? And the mind, I think we're getting to the point, we're nearing that haze in the barn territory where there is no one workout that you can get that will like make you 100% prepared than you are now. And as long as you just kind of keep consistent and just follow the plan like we've been doing for the whole time, just got to have a lot of faith and that we know it's going to work. And I think this next week for the body is going to be a pretty big week. The next week or two will be kind of a big resiliency kind of endurance week. And I'm going to kind of try to use that as like a little bit of confidence as well of like, hey, we're going to do something big. We're just prepping the body. We're getting ready now. Can handle these next 2 weeks. Let's go. Just a little prime the pump a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, even just today, we're recording this on, what's today, Tuesday?
Tuesday.
We had a pretty big
swim day.
We had a pretty big swim this morning, basically a little bit over half of the total swim distance of the ÖTILLÖ race course.
Yeah.
And it was pretty hard. I mean, even our coach called it diabolical. And honestly,
it was.
It was hard. It was hard, but it didn't feel insurmountable at any point. And it was just like, okay, put your head down and go. And I think if I could speak for you, I think we've been feeling that way a lot lately, which is just like, okay, whatever's on there, no problem. Whereas I would say even like a year ago, if there was something on there, it'd be like, okay, I got to get mentally prepared for this.
Yeah, this was a workout that I think a year ago, if that would have popped in our inbox, we would have been frantically texting each other like, oh my God, we're going to die. We're going to get killed tomorrow. Making sure have all the coffee that I need to take and everything. But now, yeah, it's like, hey, it's just another workout for us. We're primed and ready. And, 5,000 plus yards long course.
5,000 meters.
Meters, sorry.
Yeah.
Closer to 6,000 yards. Would have scared us shitless. Probably. And now we're like, like you said, we kind of are just, the mindset's there, like, let's just knock it out. Let's get it done.
Yeah, and I'm from my side of the garage, it's kind of like I'm getting a lot of confidence from just kind of being able to keep up with you for whatever that's worth.
You dusted me this morning.
But I think it's like, I mean, we've mentioned this before where I think we're kind of really, we're pretty aligned on paces at this point, both in the water and running.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to bode well for,
everything.
Not having any, it's just going to make everything better. I mean, we've said it many times. It's like the best way to make swim run be an adventure and not turn into some ordeal is just having really good swim fitness, and running fitness definitely helps too.
Yeah. And that's been our focus. And I think it'll turn, I mean, we've been fortunate enough to not, you're capable of leading all the runs and not have had kind of quote unquote that bad day or whatever. That can happen at any point.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, oh, I can totally lead us out on a run. And it's not like, oh, we're going to give up a little bit on the pace or anything like that. Like it'll be probably around what we're going to throw down.
Yeah.
Throw down. So that's how my body and mind are doing. Chris, how's the body? How's the mind?
Body's good. Feeling pretty fit. Feeling like, I guess this is sort of going into mind a little bit. I can always tell when I'm sort of feeling race ready, when I just want the thing to start.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm necessarily there yet, but if like the World Championship started next week, I'd probably be pretty stoked just to kind of like get out there and do it. So I think that's good. I think feeling definitely the fittest I've felt since having children. Which is a good feeling. It's nice to feel strong and feel like I can just go out and do anything. Like on Monday, I had to get out early and just pretty much like we both ran like half marathons on a Monday, which is, we should try to save those for like Saturdays or Sundays or something.
Usually that's like weekend long run status, but it was on a Monday.
Exactly. But that's just kind of where we are, which is great. And I think, mentally, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling like I'm ready for the obviously still have, again, some fear of the unknown, just as you would with anything. Anytime you do anything new, and even though we've studied the course and seen all the videos at, at 2 a.m. and whatnot, I think it's like it's going to be so great. I mean, we both have been taking little breaks this past weekend. You had a little vacation. You went up to
Like a
Northern
wedding
California
thing, yeah.
for a wedding. This weekend, I'm taking my family to Hawaii for a very short vacation. And I think like even our ability to do that a month out from the race and be like, you know what, I'm going to unplug for a week and everything's going to be fine. I think even that is a lot of growth. And I think, I just feel like we've evolved a lot. Like even our banter during races is now more technical and less like, oh yeah, so did I ever tell you about the time that my buddy in high school, like, you know, blah, blah, blah,
Those
blah.
are the only stories I got.
I think I've heard them all at this point, but
I don't think so.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm super stoked. I'm super stoked to do it with you, and I think it's going to be. I mean, it's just going to be regardless of what happens. Like, it's just going to be an epic day, and
fun.
Yeah, I mean, we want to do a good job, and we want to sort of. We know a lot of people be cheering us on, and that really fuels us to just get out there and just have fun.
Okay.
Feeling good about it.
I think we're both kind of lined up like we have been for a bit. So I'm feeling really lined up. Yeah, you know, we're really lucky we get to train together all the time and all that. And that's not the reality for a lot of swim run teams out there. So, but hey, we're just taking advantage of that. Yeah. So this is we're alluding to our gear for this thing. Do you want to talk through kind of what we're thinking? I mean, I feel like we both kind of have our kits fairly locked down if we want to walk through that.
Well, I mean, I would say this whole countdown to ÖTILLÖ series has been really validating and sort of in our thought process because a lot of the guests we've had on have sort of reaffirmed what we've already been thinking or told us to do what we've already been doing.
Yeah.
So having Helen on, I thought was great because it was kind of more of the same, right? Just like this is how you should approach it. These are general considerations. It's obviously very individual. We won't spoil our conversation with her, but I felt like, okay, I'm not making any totally ridiculous decision about gear. And I think where I'm at with it at this point, and I think I'm just going to settle on it and not make any other decisions or change my mind on it, is I'm going to bring the UTA and I'm going to bring the Orno X. And I'm planning on wearing the Orno X unless there's some like really ridiculous warm thing
The water's boiling or something.
Yeah, then I'll wear the UTA. I'm planning on wearing arm sleeves at the beginning and then taking them off and stashing them, wearing the little halo thing under the swim cap, and knee-high socks and kangaroo top. And then, you know, other than that, I think just going to try to keep everything the same that I've done in every other swim run.
Yeah. And your shoes?
Yep, same shoes.
The Solomon
Amphibs, Amphib 2s. They've never led me astray, and
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
And are you going to bring you'll probably bring it. I think out of compulsion, we'll both bring nearly every bit of kit we have just because it's like we wouldn't want to show up and not
it's so
have
light
the thing.
too. It's like we always talk about, oh, it's so great. You don't have to travel with a bike. Yeah, you end up traveling like 3 wetsuits. But, you know, they don't weigh a lot, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's true. They're just like thick shirts.
Well, you know, so I'm going to Hawaii and I'm bringing my swimrun kit because there's this really awesome. Looks like it's going to be a really cool place to do like a warm weather swim run
with the dolphins.
And my wife was like, "Oh, how much room is that going to take?" I'm like, "Don't even worry about it. It's going to take, you know, basically."
The VIG is it's whisper thin, weighing at 480 grams for this men's medium tall.
Exactly. What about you?
Yeah, so I think we've kind of discussed this a little bit, but. We talk about it a little in the episode as well, but I think you've kind of talked me into. I was debating between Orno X and the UTA. Obviously, we haven't been there and jumped in the water, but I'm bringing those two as well, with the arm sleeves, with the halo band, and I will most likely race in the Orno X. Seeing how the water is the couple of days before, whenever we do, I would like to do it without arm sleeves, but I think. For such a long race, I'm just going to bring them because I wouldn't want to be out there and like get too cold and like, wow, I really, you know, we're out there trying to have a good time and have fun and enjoy it. I don't want to be shivering my ass off to save 2 arm sleeves worth of thing. And so, and the halo band as well, which we kind of, I've tested that before. That has worked really well. Kangaroo top as well, knee-high socks. And then I've actually been testing the VJ Ultra shoes.
The 2s, right?
So I just got the 2s and I wore those this week for that 13-mile run and they feel really solid. So I'll likely be in the Ultra 2s, the VJ Ultra 2s there. And Frank paddles across the board.
Of
size mediums. And right now we only have the blue steel ones.
Yeah.
We haven't got the new pros to test, but
Which at this point, I'm probably just going to blue steel it.
yeah, it's what we've used, so it works, and yeah.
But I think I think what I really loved about having Helen on was she is super experienced, but she's also kind of chill about the whole thing.
Yes.
She's done the World Championship.
Her outlook
Yeah.
throughout the whole episode was just so great.
Yeah. And I honestly, I think it's infectious. So if anyone's listening and they are sort of have some trepidation about this race or whatever it is, just listening to her was like really calming, just to be like, everything's going to be fine. It's very individual. Be prepared.
Yeah.
Know yourself, trust yourself, and rely on your partner, which I think is great. So, but she's awesome. She's been on. Well, we mentioned this anyway. I'm repeating myself.
Yes. Fourth time on the show.
Yeah.
More than happy to have her on whenever she likes.
Yep.
First time was all the way back in Catalina Island, post Catalina 2020.
Yeah.
That was the first time. So.
Yep.
Anywho, without further ado, here is our conversation with ARK CEO Helen Wikmar.
All right, so Helen Wikmar back on the show for the fourth time. You're tied for our most recurring guest. Thank you so much for coming on. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm honored, and I'm good. And I love to see you guys a little bit nervous.
Yeah, there's some nerves. There's some nerves. Yeah. I mean, I think the nerves come from just kind of like, it's just because it's the unknown. I mean, we've been training pretty hard. I think we feel pretty good, but it's just like, we've never slipped on those rocks before.
You don't know what you don't know.
No?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, so we asked you to come on because, we wanted to talk about, we're trying to leave no stone unturned in our sort of build to ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship. And one of the things that we wanted to chat with you about as the CEO of ARK Sports, our favorite company, is gear, right? Because that's a big thing. It's a long race. There's a lot of different things that can go on. So we kind of wanted to get your sense of, what your recommendations for gear would look like for the race. But before that, ARK has been releasing a whole bunch of new suits. I was wondering if you could just give us kind of like an overview of what the new technology is.
We have a new Una X for 2022 that's updated with a lot of stuff. Inside the suit, we have pockets on this one. And it's actually a bit warmer. It's so many fancy words, so I'm a bit embarrassed to even pronounce them. But it is a Titan membrane in the suit, in the front of the suit, and that actually keeps your body temperature a bit longer.
Wow!
And also the material in the legs are a bit lighter to run in, so you're not as restricted as before. It's even easier. And also we have updated the collar to be a bit more softer to avoid the coughing or chafing on the suit.
Yeah, I mean, that suit, I think it's really interesting. I mean, Chipper has the new Uta Air, which is the new sleeveless version of the Uta. Yeah. And I think one of the interesting features of that, and Chipper, maybe you can chat about this, are sort of the placement of the pockets.
Yes. So pockets on the inside of wetsuits, especially swimmer wetsuits, isn't like a new thing at all. But I think what we have seen before is that when people cab down or pull their wetsuit top down, the pockets, which are usually like how pockets would be on a shirt, vertical up and down, anything you have stored tends to just fly right out onto the trail or wherever.
Yeah.
Geniusly, you all put them as a side entry pocket, and with the similar kind of, at least to me, the same kind of construction and materials what's on the kangaroo top. So they're very elastic and sturdy feeling. It can hold so much things. So many things.
Yeah.
All the nutrition that we're going to need for our adventure here in 1 month.
Yes. Yeah, but Daniel and actually Adriel did a really good solution for the pockets, actually. So Adriel Young, who is, he won the World Championship last year.
Yep.
And Daniel Sand working on ARK.
And that's one thing that we've really loved about ARK since kind of the beginning, your relationship with the athletes on getting product feedback and tweaking things. And that hasn't changed. That's been sort of the core to your ethos, if you will, as a company. And yeah, last year, Chris and I are pretty geeky on the gear stuff, and we noticed there was some sleeveless wetsuits being worn by Adriel and Oscar, and we thought, those look pretty interesting. I would love to know more about these, but we had to wait patiently like everybody else. But yeah, would love to hear a little bit about, this is the Uto Air is the sleeveless version of the Uto suit, and would love to kind of hear how working with Oscar and Adriel and Daniel and yourself kind of came up with going for a sleeveless version.
We had of course had some discussion about the sleeveless version for a couple of years, but we wanted to have a good idea before making one that didn't work. The problem with the sleeveless suit is to not have too much water leaking in the armpit to get the suit really, really tight around the armpit. So not until we had a good idea how to solve that, we started to have samples for Adriel and Oscar to use. And I mean, for ARK, it's very important to work really close to the athletes, not only the top athletes, also the general person, to get the feedback and input. And everyone has so much good ideas of what we should bring for next season, and that was the case with Uto Air as well. And Daniel is really flexible designing. So if we get an idea and we like it, we can actually, it's me and Daniel working really close to the athletes, so we can make it happen pretty fast. So
nice.
Yeah, that's how Uto Air came. Yeah, and then Oscar and Adriel asked us about it because they wanted to have a new suit for their triumph, breaking the course record and win the world champion. And so they tested it, and then they both gave us feedback. And then Daniel met them like 2 or 3 days after they have tried it, and Adriel clocked himself, and so it was a good cooperation together with Adriel and Oscar to get the suit as good as it is.
Yeah, I've used it a few times. I've loved it. Is the sleeveless thing something that you've been hearing about, that people like more sort of mobility in their shoulders when they're swimming, or less material pulling on them when they're running, or what is kind of what's sort of the origination of going sleeveless?
Yeah, so we started because we thought that the most improvement would be in the swimming sections, to get the flexibility, to not have any restriction at all in the strokes. But actually, when Adriel tested, he has a course when he tested himself running and swimming, he noticed that he ran faster, even faster than he swam. So it's actually very good for the running parts as well.
Yeah. I remember when we interviewed him I forget when it was, December or something. I can't remember.
It was.
Can't remember.
I know
anything.
he was having
week.
summer because he was in Australia.
Right. Yeah.
So
it must have been winter.
Wherever it must have.
But yeah, I was actually pretty surprised by that. Him saying that the real benefit was really in running because you don't fatigue your shoulders from the arm swing, and then I guess when you're an amazing swimmer like him and Oscar are, like, it's marginal gains, but more gains in the running, which was pretty interesting. Now, the other new suit, which I've really been loving, is the new Corp, which has been really updated. Yes. I mean, the collar's better, the fit is better, seems super durable. I know, like you mentioned, you guys get a lot of feedback from athletes. How long did it take you guys to kind of redesign the Corp and take in everyone's feedback?
So the original Corp was made in 2018. Mm-hmm. So a lot have happened to the neoprene overall in these years, and I think that the Corp from 2018 is I like it a lot. It's flexible and but we did get some feedback that some got some chafing and it wasn't that flexible. And if you compare the neoprene now in the Corp from 2022, it's so much more flexible. Mm-hmm. So that's a that's a large improvement, I think. And the color, as you say, and also the sleeves, mm-hmm. The what you call it,
armband thing, the cuff.
Yeah. Also, that one we improved that one to make the sleeves fit better. But I mean, it took then 2 years to get a new one, and but actually, the most people have been pretty satisfied with the Corp.
Yeah, I think the Corp is great. I mean, after wearing it one time, basically right out of the box, we went to do a swim practice. Like right after, I was like, I could wear this in a race, like no problem. Like it's totally. Yeah, if that's the only suit you had, you'd be just fine.
No problem.
Yeah.
Which is great that you can do that with a quote unquote entry level suit.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's a very good base suit.
Yeah,
it's a very good base suit.
Definitely.
I would also wear it. No problem.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the best thing you could say about a suit. It's like, any scenario, no problem.
I'll wear it. No problem.
I will wear it. Yeah, I actually do some training in the Corp. I try to not only try ARK suits, I try all suits on the market. I try at least, not everyone, but the one I need to try. Mm-hmm. But Corp is my favorite for like calm and long swimrun training with my friends when we stay and chat, and it's pretty warm and it's durable, as you say. It's a very good suit.
Yeah, for sure. Now. Now looking forward to, in a month, we have this little race that just happens to be one of the hardest endurance events in the world. Now, gear considerations, it's really something that we have some thoughts on, but we would love to hear, as someone who's raced it a bunch of times, I think 3 or 4 times you've done the World Championship?
3 or 2.5 maybe.
Right. Started 3.
Okay.
Yeah, started 3.
I'd love to hear your thoughts as to sort of overall what should, general gear considerations look like, and then maybe more specifically, what you think if someone is looking to get an ARK suit, like which ARK suit would be sort of the most beneficial for a course like that.
Yeah. So I discussed this earlier with my husband, who also swimrun a bit. Mm-hmm. Because I often get that question, like, which suit would I wear for World Champion? Which one is the best? and it's so much to consider. And a lot of parameters we don't even know now. Like, what's the temperature in the air? What's the temperature in the water? Is it cloudy? Is it sunny? And also the course, of course. Now, the course we know. So we know it's a pretty long swim sections and it's pretty long running sections. You will get warm running in between for the most of the time. You have to consider what part in the team are you doing? Are you pulling all the swims? Are you pulling the running sections? A lot of all this is, of course, important to know when you decide what to wear. We know Isabella.
Yes.
Yeah, she wore Vig 1 year.
Wow. The most minimal suit that you offer.
Yes.
In terms of warmth.
She was also cold. I felt her shivering in the back of the swim.
Uh-oh.
But then she got warm during the run, so it wasn't a problem for her, right? I also have a friend that she sewed her own neoprene bra and trousers underneath the wetsuit. Okay, so we have to consider, are you a warm or a cold person? Are you good at sew yourself?
Sewing.
Or not?
Chris, are you going to be able to sew me any underwear?
I cannot.
Exactly.
I cannot.
Exactly. No.
Probably
so
do
I
a
wouldn't
G-string
even go
for
there.
if you wanna,
I wouldn't even go there. Right. No.
Sure,
so it's hard to answer the question what you should wear. I know what I would wear.
Yeah.
I know myself, and I won't decide in advance what I will wear because I have the opportunity to actually choose which suit I want. But like general, I would propose for the general person. In Sweden, we have this word lagom. It's not too much or too cold, too warm, too cold. It's in between. That's lagom. And I would propose then Uno X. It's easy to cab if it's warm. It's super flexible, so you can just takes a couple of seconds to get it off and a couple of seconds to get it on. It's easy. And then I would wear a kangaroo top, not the thermal, because Uno X is warm. And then I would wear like wool socks because that helps a lot. You often freeze in what do you say?
Your extremities.
You often get cold on your feet.
Yeah.
And this will prevent that a lot. It helps a lot to have warm socks. I have done some long workouts with one feet with like merino sock and one with the ordinary sock, and it's very I really feel the difference.
Wow.
Did you do that on purpose, or was it like an accident and then you're like, hey, my left foot is so much warmer?
I do that test too in the morning if it's too dark and I can't find the right matching sock.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've done that on accident.
Yeah. No, but this was on purpose, of course, since we have we also have some socks now in stock. So
they're lovely.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
They're very soft.
Yeah, I love them too. Hey, surprise!
That's good.
It's like so. We swear this isn't sponsored content.
But I think this is a really good because I had a run before this, and I overthink things a lot, and so I was thinking about what should I do? What should I wear? We're talking to Helen today. What wetsuit? And it's all about kind of knowing yourself and how you, based on your testing or the other races that you've done. Like we just did a race, the Casco Bay in Portland, Maine, the Odyssey race, and we both wore Utos. Yeah. And the water was probably 60-ish, but the air was also really warm, upper 70s, and it was humid. So we were getting really hot on some of the runs. But yeah, we were able to kind of cab down, and the water was nice and cooling. But we never got shivering cold on that.
Okay.
So I think it was a good test for us.
Did you have the Ute air or the Ute?
Just the Uto.
Yeah, Chipper chickened out of wearing the Ute.
Yeah.
But I had the new Vig, and I chickened out of wearing that one.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm trying to be responsible.
A good decision.
I think one thing you said that I think makes a lot of sense, and it kind of goes to, I think, where Chipper and I have been thinking about this, sort of for the average person, like World Championship is a long race. The Orno X is the warmest suit in the line. That one probably gives you the most safety in the sense, like if it is a cold day, you're going to be glad you have it. If it is a super warm day, you can always cab down. And you'll still be able to cool off in the water. I mean, we've worn the Orno X for last year races, at a really, really hilly race.
Yeah.
And it was fine. So I think that's probably like a good tip. Like definitely know if you run hot or run cold.
Exactly.
And optimize for what you need to optimize. But if you want to be on the super safe side, warmer is better.
Yes. And I mean, also to consider is, will you do it? Will you do it as an adventure, or is this like the hardest you can go and everything? I mean, Oscar and Adriel, when they did it in Ute Air, they went as fast as they could. They pushed harder than ever, and of course they were warm. And you walk on Une, maybe not use a thin and colder wetsuit. And then I think like a good tip is also bring the headband, bring sleeves or wear sleeves from the beginning and take them off. It's so super easy, and it actually gives you a lot of warmth to just wear the headband for the longer swims. Stuff like that.
Yeah, and luckily ARK has all these great products.
Yes.
Which we also have. The headband, we had been eyeing that, not because we needed to tame the beautiful flow that Chris and I have been rocking for the last part of the 2 years, but I wore it, and it is surprisingly keeps you very warm for it just kind of going over your ears, and the whole top of your head is exposed, but you have your other neoprene cap, so it does a pretty good job. So
and also, I mean, it's with all our products, we keep them thin, but that doesn't mean that they aren't warm. It's the design to not have the water leaking in, that will keep you warm. You don't have to have this 5 centimeter neoprene if the water
doesn't get in.
Yeah. So that's the ARK key, or our thing is that keep it thin and a really good fit. That's the solution to keep you warm. And also we have the Kangaroo Thermal if it gets really cold. I mean,
like
it's a super good thermal top, and you could bring all the energy that you need.
Right. So I feel like that's super helpful. I think, when Chipper and I are thinking about gear, we're obviously super lucky to have a bunch of the ARK stuff. And going into this race, I mean, we're definitely thinking of bringing a couple of our suits and then just kind of making a game time decision. Like if it happens to be like a super hot day or just something freakishly warm, be prepared for that. But I think that, I'm curious. Sounds like that's your approach as well, where you're just going to be flexible, kind of see what it's looking like a couple days out, and then make your decision.
Yeah, I always before the race, when the whole ÖTILLÖ organization, I've been on a few races now, and always the day before, everyone freaks out. It's too warm. It's
I can't wait.
Cold. It's too windy. It's too anything. So I try not to listen to anyone else. I know myself. I know what I need.
Yeah.
I know what I have been through. I have done a couple of races, and I take that experience and decide for myself. I don't have to consider that my friend gets really, really, really cold and that she's super nervous. I focus on myself. That's my tip. So
That's a great tip.
Yeah, bring the suit you think. I mean, bring everything, because otherwise you will regret you didn't bring the.
Or else, are you bringing that shipping container out there? We can bring a bunch. Day before, people just be buying new suits left and right.
That's the best. So don't bring anything,
and then just buy it all the day before.
Look for the black.
2021, everyone was super scared it was going to be too cold, and I think that's the most common thing, that everyone is afraid it's going to be cold, but then in the end, everyone was too warm.
Mm.
We've heard that from other folks as well. I mean, we just had Jonas Kolting on last month, and he was saying it's like, for the most part, like you just got to power through the swims, and then, if you get cold in the swim, then you just got to run a little bit,
harder
to get your core temperature up during the run.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do. I guess the best way to get cold is to stop during the swim and just kind of float around for a bit. But no, I think that advice is well taken. I mean, we've heard that from a couple people, just like, kind of just ignore the noise. Like,
but it's, the atmosphere on Djurön Asset on Sunday evening is like, what am I going to wear? It's too cold. It's too warm.
Yeah.
So either you like that and embrace it, or you don't, and then you can just focus on yourself.
Yeah, that's a good call. I think we should probably just figure it out before, Chris, and that way it's one less thing to stress about when we're already stressing.
Where I learned my lesson from Casco. I'm deciding early.
Just decide early. Now you mentioned cabbing down and cabbing up, and the suits are very flexible and they're great with that. That's something that Chris and I think we're going to try to work on a little bit more here for our last couple swimrun practices when we're a couple weeks out here now, because that is something that we have found really helps you run more efficiently when you are feeling not like you're going to boil over there. So is there any particular tips or things that you do, or is it just kind of you got to practice it and kind of understand the best way for you to kind of get out?
No, my tip is remember that you are a team. You have 4 hands. Use them when you cab.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it all depends on what your intention is. Is it to go the fastest you can? Then don't stay and cab. Do it during the run. And if you don't care, then stop and make it really good instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And help each other. I mean, when we do it when we run, and then my teamie, she holds my stuff, and I do it really fast, and then I take her stuff, and then she do. So that's the fastest way, I think. Yeah.
Maybe that's always a good reminder.
I'll mule your stuff for a bit.
Got 4 hands.
Got your jersey, your paddles, your goggles, everything.
Everything.
Throw it at your partner.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. You've asked us a couple times what our intentions are. Our intentions are to try to have as much fun as possible and then
finish.
And then second intention is to not embarrass ourselves too bad.
Oh, you have been training good now.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
We're going to be we're going to be as prepared as we possibly can be. So we're really looking forward to going out there.
Yeah.
Now I have a question just in terms of strategy. So we've heard from a lot of other folks that essentially try not to worry too much about the time. The first couple of islands, it's going to take a while to kind of get through that terrain. At what point do you think, though, it makes sense to is it after the first cutoff to start trying to get a sense of, okay, well, how much time is going by, what your pace is, or is it just like, as long as you make the cutoffs, don't worry about it?
Good question.
She's going to say, what are your intentions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you want to have fun, or do you want to?
I mean, I want to have fun, but I don't want to be stressed about like.
No, but I mean, a lot have happened with your training in 2 years. I don't think you have to worry about the cutoffs at all. So I would like split the course in 3, and in your head, ignore the cutoffs. You will make them. No worries at all. So. And then you have like a mental, what do you say?
Kind of like a checkpoint after each third? Okay.
First part.
And you think that's like Namda, Runmara, I totally butchered that, and then Orna? Those would be like your 3 sections?
Exactly. So I would have Orna. When you have done that, then it's just the rest.
Easy.
Then you're
just
done.
Get home.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, just stay upright.
Yeah. But I mean, then the rest you will manage because you're almost done. You did the worst part then.
Okay.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Just got to get through the worst part and then we're home.
Yeah, but I mean, enjoy the atmosphere and I mean, it's such a long course and a lot of time there aren't people sharing at you. I'm totally driven by the folks around, so I make sure to really embrace when I see people like woohoo and get energy from them.
Yeah.
So that's my tip.
I love it.
Oh, we're familiar with that tip.
I love it. Yeah. Whenever, when there's a camera, I'm sure we'll be milking it.
Yeah, but I mean, to enjoy the really good parts. Yeah. Then you will just smash the bad parts away.
Nice. I'll smash bad parts all day long. Sounds good. We've enlisted the help of several of our American friends who have raced ÖTILLÖ before, and one of the top things that they relay back to us is watch out for the rocks or the terrain on the first couple islands. Is that a valid concern of yours as well, or you're just more used to it because you it's sort of, although you're on the other side of the coast?
I'm on the other side, but that's my favorite part. Yeah, so in Gothenburg we also have the slippery rocks. So if we're talking gear, I would really make sure to have a pair of shoes that are with a good grip. When Isabella and I did the World Champ in 2019, we passed a lot of teams on the slippery rocks, and we were like walking, and we passed them. So, make sure to have good shoes.
What shoes are you wearing these days? I think I saw you wearing Adidas. Terrace?
Yes. Oh yeah, she has.
Yes, I'm wearing Adidas, but VJ, the Finnish shoe, you know that one? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They have better grip, I would say, but I'm wearing Adidas mostly because they have a higher drop. I had a problem with my heel.
Okay.
Yep, that's
I had to have a higher drop to not have pain anymore. So, but also Adidas has good grip. It works. But for Gothenburg this weekend, I will use the VJ.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. VJs. And the Continental grip on the, is it Continental or is it?
Continental.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, I'm not working in the shoe business, but I've tried a lot, and they are my favorite for the grip. But then Adidas is looking very good. It's also important. And
it looks good. They also drain really good. I find the
Yes, exactly. Really good. So but it's all in the details, right? You have to consider everything, and the shoes is actually a big part.
Yeah. You'll be on those feet for quite a bit of kilometers.
Yeah, and you should listen to your American friends.
Okay. Sounds good. I try to listen to everybody.
Well, let me ask you one last question. We've had you here for a while, and it's super late in Sweden right now. It's a month out. How are you approaching sort of your last sort of training block heading into this race? You're just trying to stay consistent, not get injured? Are you trying to put in, I guess, in ideal scenarios? You just made a face at us. Would you be still trying to put in some big days, find some fitness, or are you just trying to like make sure you stay crisp and healthy?
I'm so not the right person to answer this question. And this is probably sounding stupid, and it's probably because it is, but I train and therefore I can race. I don't have a race to keep me training and keep up my motivation. It's my lifestyle to train, and I train so much so I can race. So I don't have a schedule. I don't even think about the ÖTILLÖ.
You're just always in shape to do it.
Yeah. And I will do the Ironman 2 weeks before. And that's probably not the best thing to do. But
well, you don't have a coach telling you not to do it, so that's good.
I'm my coach, so do it.
Yeah.
So I'm not a good person about this training strategy, and a lot of people telling me that I train too much to like make the most of the races, but it's not my goal to make the most of the races. I love to train. I love to race sometimes, and so I'm do whatever you want. Have fun, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You always have the best outlook on that. I always love to hear it from you there. And you're racing nearly, it seems like every weekend, according to your Instagram, at least from what I could take.
Yeah,
you just had a race with...
it's just fake. It's fake. Yeah. No. I raced... I almost did the race every weekend. Sorry, I don't have a good answer to that. I'm not.
No, I mean, person. I think that's a perfectly acceptable answer, and I think if anything, it says that having some self-confidence going into any race is probably the thing that's going to serve you the best, rather than that last extra hill interval workout or something 2 weeks before.
And consistency.
Yeah, consistency, and I promised myself to always on the start line in the morning to know that at least I've done what I could, and that I confident that I'm strong enough to do this. And I don't have a very firm goals or a time I want to break or in advance in the race. I don't look at the start list and like, okay, I'm going to place blah blah blah. But when I'm in the race, I'm very competitive and I want to do my best. But that's not I don't want that to be the purpose. I don't want it to be the thing that drives me, if you understand.
Yeah. I totally get it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty similar to us. I mean, we want to try to do a good job and kind of go out there while still having fun and chatting people up and just, enjoying the adventure of it all.
And not slipping on the rocks.
No,
yeah,
please don't.
Yeah.
I will make sure, I think Christopher will go with his boat during the race. He will follow you and make some good videos.
Oh, good. No.
Sounds good. Yeah, the blooper reel, that'll be great. Yeah. That'll be great. Well, Helen, thank you so much for taking the time. Yes. I know it's super late in Sweden right now. I really appreciate all your insight and everything that you're doing for the sport. I think I've said it many times. I think Daniel Sund is the Da Vinci of swimrun. Like, once again, he's elevated what's possible in a swimrun wetsuit and all the gear and stuff. And I think it's going to be great to see you in person again, because last time was Catalina way back when. And can't wait Can't wait to be in Sweden in 5 weeks.
We look forward to have you.
Can't wait.
It's going to be fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you
thank you.
a month.
Yeah, good luck.
Oh boy, here it comes.
All right, take care. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
All right, bye. Well, that was really great. And
As predicted earlier.
she's awesome. We love her. She's been a huge supporter of us, and we can't thank her enough for everything she's done for us and to help us grow our show. And I think with that, I mean, we thank everyone who's been supporting us, who's been encouraging us. I mean, so many people came up to us at Casco and told us they were rooting for us.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's hard. I don't know what else to say, but
thank you.
I mean,
we'll share the link. There's going to be a Facebook Live thing covering the whole thing. So if you want to wake up, late or early, depending what time zone you're in, and watch some of that, highly encourage it. It's a really good program.
It's on
guest,
Labor
Vila,
Day, so you hopefully have off work.
Yeah, Vila is producing that, and he's going to be commentating. So it should be a pretty good show, and yeah, we can't wait. The countdown. I guess there's still a month, but
yeah, it's on.
As far as this show is over.
Giddy up. And of course, if you're not following us on Instagram, we are the Low Tide Boys, over on Instagram, and we'll be posting along our stories and everything there on us in Sweden if you want to check that out and kind of follow along. Also, if you're over in Sweden and racing the championship, we would love to meet up with you all. We're trying to plan a couple different things, but if you're looking, including like a little swim run shakeout situation, so we're open for ears on that. And if you do see us in person in Sweden, got a little something for you. So come find the Low Tide Boys just moseying around Stockholm in a month
with a bag of stickers,
with a giant bag of who knows what
of Rasta flag stickers for everybody.
Well, that's it for this week's episode. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and leave a review, since that's the best way to help other people discover the show and the sport of swim run.
Sign up for a newsletter at lowtideboys.com. That's boys with a Z. And check out our meme page at the Low Tide Boys on Instagram. If you have any suggestions for the show or questions for us, send us a DM or an email at lowtideboys@gmail.com.
We'd like to thank Riding Easy Records for our show music, and of course our wives for their support and tolerance of all our swim run activities, podcast, and other stuff.
Yeah, other stuff.
Way
to keep it PG. Finally, you can support our efforts on Patreon. Until next time, get out there and go for a swim.
Go for a run.
Then another swim.
Then another run.
And then another swim.
And then another run.
And then just keep going. Until you're done.
Or maybe can't
stop.
Stuff.